So if you're a millennial like me, then you understand that we are under the influence of the internet almost 24/7, if not 25/8. And one of the things that has been ruining me the past couple of weeks is the fact that there is a new standard that all women are supposed to be soft. Like, I am getting more feminine, I'm getting more this, more that, but soft, I don't think that that resonates with me. I have my soft, vulnerable moments. However, I'm a dog.
It's interesting that she is, it's interesting that the idea of being soft does not resonate with her. That seems to bother her. That seems, yeah, she's not in agreement. That rubs her the wrong way. That's kind of interesting. Let's just continue what she has to say. I'm curious why.
And I'm not saying that like in a masculine, like man way, the way that y'all would probably think it would. I mean, like, I got real dog in me. I'm a real hustler. I'm a real boss. Like, I'm bossy. I'm assertive.
Yeah, no, see, okay. Okay. So, and I think this is the problem that sometimes ladies have. Like, if you're a heterosexual woman and you're attracted to heterosexual men and you're attracted to like strong heterosexual men don't want to feel like they're dating a dude. Like, they don't want to feel like they're in a gay relationship. And so, you know, she talked about, oh, I'm bossy, I'm assertive, I'm a dog. Like, these are aggressive traits. And here's the thing about it. I am not necessarily saying it's wrong to operate in more aggressive traits in particular time. Like, let's say you're in sales, or let's say it's not even that you have to necessarily be a man. You don't have to be a man or act like a man in order to get things done, even in corporate, even in business settings, right? But you might have to be more confident. You might have to. So there's a way that you can do that and still be in your feminine. But the thing is, a lot of Black women, we don't understand this. We don't really fully understand, I think, what it means to fully embrace our femininity while still allowing a man to be a man around us, while still interacting with true, strong, heterosexual men. And I think too, some of us, because we didn't grow up in environments where we were allowed to flourish in the fullness of our femininity, but we were raised in more survival mode and our survival instincts. That puts us in this place where we can't necessarily operate in the softer, the more gentler aspects of femininity that can be equally as powerful. Because I think another thing ladies don't understand is, like, we always equate power to the traits that are oftentimes associated with masculinity. She mentioned it: assertive, dominant, a dog, a hustler. She mentioned the power traits that are associated with masculinity, but we don't understand the power traits that are associated with femininity. There's something very powerful and influential about softness, about gentleness, about quietness, right? Like, these can be character traits that aren't even necessarily always spoken, but they're very powerful and they're feminine. They're things that men don't necessarily master. But when we don't master it, and when we're put in survival mode and think that in order to get ahead, we have to act like this, I think it honestly creates an imbalance. And sometimes I think at a certain point, a woman can get into a place where she either just gets tired. She's like, I'm doing this and I'm comfortable with this in some level, but then another level, I'm not. I'm very tired. I want to be softer, right? Or they may just find it harder for them to be able to connect with a man that they kind of like or desire, but at the same time, they may be a little intimidated by, because like if you have two assertive, aggressive, hustle people together, like that's at a certain point, something's going to have to give. And like I said, a strong heterosexual man, probably the kind of man that she wants, because if she feels like she's a hustler, she's like, they're going to want a man who also hustles. I doubt she's going to want a house husband, right? So she's into that. Those kind of men don't want to feel like they're in a gay relationship. They don't want to feel like they're dating a dude. And if you're coming with that energy in the romantic relationship and you're not necessarily in your feminine, then that can get in the way too. Let's continue.
I'm a money magnet. I cannot just settle for laying on my back waiting for somebody to sweep me up off of my feet. And this is no shade to the girls who are, because kudos to you that that's what you feel comfortable in. And I pray that you continue to rest in that, and that all of everything is fulfilled for you. There's nothing wrong with being that woman. However, y'all are not going to make me feel like there's something wrong with being a woman that I am either. Like, I even closed my business because of this. And I literally just called my boo last week because I asked him, like, I need to maybe talk to some older women or someone where I can try to get a good idea of how to rest in my femininity without feeling guilty or something like that. Because I'm sorry, I did it. I did the Pilates, got the smoothie, the avocado toast, went to Lulu Aloe, spent the money, like rested, went to the spa. whatever. I had a great soft life for the past almost 30 days. It makes me feel like a bum.
Here's the thing about it, and this is where I don't like about these femininity movements, and it also shows me that a lot of these ladies actually don't understand femininity, and so they're trying to grasp for straws and figure it out on the go. You doing Pilates and having a freaking avocado toast and a green smoothie doesn't make you more feminine. Like, there are men who eat avocado toast. Like, it doesn't make you more feminine to do that. And not working doesn't necessarily not make you any feminine either. A lot of these ladies are ladies who just don't want to work. A lot of these ladies are ladies who actually are kind of lazy or don't want to do adult things. You can be a fully feminine woman and have a career or have a passion or have a hobby. So equating femininity and soft life with like not being a functional adult, just sitting around and living like you're like, I don't know, a princess who gets catered to all the time, that's not feminine. To me, that's actually being lazy, in my opinion. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying like, you know, if you get to a place in your life, you get to a certain place where you have the money and resources to be able to not maybe work in a certain capacity, that's great. But you can still not be feminine. You can still have aggressive or domineering or be disrespectful. Like, femininity is so much more about the inward qualities, so much more about the inward state of being. And I think it's oftentimes misrepresented. So listen, just because she enjoys to work, just because she has her career or something that she's passionate about, doesn't necessarily mean that she's unfeminine. I think that has more to do with like the character traits, the qualities, how you value yourself, who you are, and your ability to express that and to be that. And especially how that can work within the context of a healthy relationship with a man. But to me, I think it's so much more full and it's so much more dynamic than just, I take Pilates, drink green smoothies, eat avocado toast, and don't have to work. Like, that's not really realistic.
I guess I can balance that with my work life, but I cannot just do nothing. If you know me, you know that I am the creator of Boss Talk, a Facebook group with over 100,000 people in there that were able to capitalize off of my platform and sell out of their products and also get new clients if they were service providers. Like, I did a real thing. My very first design for my pajama line was worn by Natalie Nunn in her latest music video and posted. I was flipping through the whole Chicago selling skincare out of my trunk and made 6 figures doing that. And then I started a credit business and made 6 figures in less than 6 months, not even needing anybody's social to complete the process, because all I did was put together a $50 kit and focus on going viral, which I did time after time, and made all of that money just from my phone. A girl like me can't sit back. Like, I really have to lean up. I have to be my authentic self. I have to do what God is calling me to do.
Yeah, nobody's telling you that there's nothing wrong with being entrepreneurial. There's nothing wrong with having great business acumen. There's nothing wrong. That is not necessarily against being a feminine woman. Listen, even if Proverbs 31, y'all know that I love the Bible. I love receiving inspiration from the Bible. If you look at Proverbs 31 woman, she was incredibly industrious. She was entrepreneurial. She was investing in things. She was, sewing. She was investing in trade. She was growing businesses. She was involved in multiple different things. There were multiple different business ventures that were actually mentioned within that particular chapter that talks about a virtuous woman. She was, helping her kids, right? She was making sure they were taken care of. She was making sure that they had healthy food, that they were prepared. She was, blessing her husband. She was encouraging him. Like, she was so dynamic. And so I think there's a very one-dimensional understanding of what it means to be a feminine woman that I think is, honestly, to me, that's more of a reflection of ladies who maybe didn't have a good understanding of that coming up. But you don't have to necessarily choose. You can, if you're entrepreneurial, that's who you are, you can fully be that, right? But you can still be nice. You can still be soft. You don't necessarily have to be a dog in the relationship with a man. And I think sometimes some ladies have a hard time knowing when to turn that off when it comes to dating. At the same time, let's say you aren't entrepreneurial. Let's say you are softer naturally. Let's say you are one who maybe you don't want to be, on the grind hustling. You want to be at home with the kids, or you just want to be at home. That doesn't mean you're lazy. It doesn't mean you just sit around and do Pilates, or not Pilates. You sit around and watch, Real Housewives and the BBLs and surgeries. It's like, no, you can still work. You just do it in your capacity. So I think we have to be a lot more balanced and a lot more mature about what actually means to be feminine. Anyways, y'all, those are my thoughts. What do you think about this whole thing? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.